This series will be an introductory look at LuaU programming. LuaU is the language used by Roblox for games, models, and plugins on the platform. It's important to pick up best practices for development in any language as soon as possible, so this first video will focus on correctly setting up your environment for optimized and easy development. One thing that is important, in my opinion, is escaping Roblox's editor for more industry standard editors. Personally, I'll pick Visual Studio Code, an open source code and text editor developed by Microsoft, because I'm well acquainted with it. Others are possible, but you'll have to figure out installation for all the tools yourself. The link to install the program will be in the description. If you actually need my help to install it, you should probably click off. Despite this being a beginner tutorial, it's not designed for 9-year-olds. Once in the program, on the left side of your screen, you'll see a collection of 4 squares. Click on it and search for Rojo, R-O-J-O. Install the extension by Eva Era, and you're basically good to go. Let's have a quick intermission for me to explain the point of Rojo. Well, it's an advanced tool which permits live syncing between your code editor, in this case Visual Studio Code, and Roblox Studio. Any code written in Visual Studio Code will transfer directly over to your Roblox Studio for publishing, testing, or whatever you might want to do with it. Once you've installed the extension, press Ctrl-Shift-P and search for Show Welcome Screen. Once the screen opens, make sure to click on Manage it for me, because despite getting to this point, you are not yet a technological wizard. If you scroll down, you'll be met with a list of plugins that are recommended. Install all of them except for Tab 9, because Tab 9 is an evil corporate witch. Visual Studio Code ships with a Git extension out of the box, and we'll use it often during the series, but for this, you'll need to have a Git installation on your machine. Feel free to skip this step if you want to lose your stable code because you forgot to save and be a loser. Pun intended. The link is also in the description. I'll guide you along for this installation because it's a little harder. On the licensing screen, press Next. On the next screen, unless you have disk space issues, I recommend using the default installation destination, so just press Next. For this next one, copy the same component selection as mine. It should already be the default though. Keep pressing Next, and for the default editor selection, select Visual Studio Code. I name my branch as main, so for your sake when following my Git commands, I recommend also overwriting. Press Next thrice. I recommend selecting min-tty if you're only going to be using Roblox, and command prompt if you're going to branch out to other languages in the future. Press Next 4 more times and then press Install. So you've now got all the main tools for development. How do you materialize this into a codebase? Well, in Visual Studio Code, navigate back to the File System menu, the first tab on the left side, and click Open Folder. This should open your root user. Create a new folder in there titled Development or Dev or something else easy to remember. I've got Dev Tutorials. Create a new subfolder with the name of your place, such as Rigid Place. And click Open Folder. And woohoo, we're almost ready to start coding. Once it opens, press Ctrl-Shift-P and type in Initialize. If you don't see Rojo initialize, you've messed up. Feel free to go back to the beginning and pay closer attention to me, rather than fantasizing about that beautiful, scrumptious simulator you were going to make with my wisdom. I mean, click Rojo initialize and wait for your project to be set up. Then repeat Ctrl-Shift-P and find Rojo build with project file. Select your default.project.json and give it a few seconds. Right-click your build.robloxlux and press Reveal in File Explorer. Double-click it. If nothing happens, congratulations, you're actually a decent person, but you will have to install Roblox Studio for the link in the description. Once in Studio, open the Plugins tab, press Rojo, go back to Visual Studio Code, which I will now be nicknaming VSC for all intents and purposes, and check the bar at the bottom, also known as the status bar, and click Start Rojo. Once this is done, go back to Roblox Studio, and click the big red Connect button, which you can't miss. Due to this connection, any changes made and saved in VSC will transfer directly over to Studio automatically for testing and publishing and anything you might want to do with it. I do not condone human sacrifices. Let's quickly make a script to say the classic first line of any programming tutorial. First, navigate to source/client and delete init.client.lua. Then repeat the process for the script in shared. Now go into init.server.lua in source/server, delete everything, and input what I'm doing here. Now press Ctrl K and then S. Go back to Roblox Studio. If you still got everything under control, press F8 to start the server. Open up the output from the View tab. And there it is.